This is by far the weirdest angle I've ever done for a video. I think I have my webcam like angled up or something like that. I'm sorry. It's like raining outside. I can't even get natural sunlight out here, so we're just going to work with what we got. Let's talk about Last of Us 2's multiplayer. Kind of a rant, but mainly talking about Uncharted 4 and what the mistakes were there. And ultimately just, let's talk about Last of Us 2 multiplayer, shall we? Now, I'm not going to lie, the reason I'm talking about this pretty much is because of like one article I've been seeing lately around talking about how Last of Us 2 will feature depth, customization, and feature an in-game store. Like, how is that really news? We know they're working on a multiplayer. It's going to be there. It's 2019, but I don't know. I just thought, like, the past day or so, remember when Robin Gaming and I think BG also talked about this, talking about they're, like, pretty much worried about Uncharted 4's multiplayer coming off of 3 because of the whole kickbacks and all the BS that was in that game. And then I just remember Robert Cogburn, like, replying saying, don't worry, and now, like, look at 2019 now, we have Uncharted 4 multiplayer, which is, to many, pretty disappointing. So I just found that funny, and I don't know, I figured I'd talk about Last of Us 2 multiplayer, pretty much just getting the discussion started because, yeah, it is 2019, the game's probably well in development by now, it might come out this year, it might come out next year, so. Now, it's been a rough past couple years for us, you know, multiplayer fans of Naughty Dog games, at least because, you know, we got Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and also we lost our god Nick A30 to Fortnite. Yeah, it took a beating, Who else is going to talk about Last of Us 2 news, you know? So yeah, let's just get started. Let's learn from the mistakes of Uncharted 4 and just let's move on. So, yeah. So sentimental, not sentimental. Now I already know I'm going to get a lot of shit or just seen as like a piece of shit from like a lot of the developers at Naughty Dog, just pretty much about what I'm about to say here, and that's just going to be pretty blunt with y'all. I didn't really like Uncharted 4's multiplayer that much. I feel like there's a lot of stupid mistakes that were made in development. I just feel like the communication wasn't the best, their choices weren't the best considering what a lot of fans wanted, and ultimately, I don't know, I just don't really care to go back to the multiplayer. I'd rather play Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, or hell, Last of Us on the PS3. Yeah, I don't know. Just something about Uncharted 4's multiplayer was probably the most disappointing, and yeah, there's a lot of reasons to be said for that. I guess I want to talk about the roadmap, which, by the way, yeah, let's talk about the roadmap. Easily can be seen as just an attempt to get fans reassured before they launch that lackluster launch. There's no really denying it. Uncharted 4's multiplayer was really lackluster, to say the least, at launch. We didn't have cinema mode. We didn't have map voting, which is so weird to say. We didn't have a lot of things. We didn't have free-for-all. We didn't have a lot of stuff that we're like accustomed to, normal Uncharted launches. You know, things like co-op wasn't there. Things like free-for-all wasn't there. There was no leveling system at all. Like, there's no incentive to play the game besides if you wanted to play ranked, which they took from CSGO, which didn't really end up working out. I mean, it was a cool concept, but I feel like they probably should just scrapped it all together going into Last of Us 2 because, you know, you're segregating the community by that point, and it's just kind of a cluster to do that. Just, it didn't make a lot of sense, or the choices behind it things, and obviously looking back at it, the launch was pretty much bad. I don't think the game found its footing until, like, the Village update or something like that, where we finally got cinema mode, and by that point we had, what? I think Classic mode was starting to go into beta, or no, that was, like, a little bit before then, but yeah, it's had a weird launch. You know, the maps also were something iffy to me because a lot of the maps were kind of like the 3-layer lanes, and they were kind of all similar in that kind of pattern. The DLCs, or, like, the free updates that they had later on, they did, like, start to improve it, but a lot of them were continued, like, to keep that same formula of, like, the 3-layer maps. You just look back to, like, I don't know, Sanctuary and, like, yeah, what? Sanctuary, Lost City. I mean, if we want to talk about Last of Us, because this is, like, a Last of Us 2 multiplayer video, like, if you're going to be going into the maps for Last of Us 2, yes, you want to, you know, obviously do maps for the new game, but, like, take inspiration from, like, some of the best maps of Last of Us 1, like, why people like those maps. You don't need to, like, copy and paste it, although if you do bring over some of the classic maps for the game's launch, I mean, I don't think a lot of fans will, like, really hate that, as long as you have, like, a lot of original maps, of course, but, like, yeah, I don't know, it's just, don't be stupid is all I'm saying. Now, warning, I'm going to be very nitpicky for what I'm about to say, but, like, things like custom clan tags and just map voting was just, like, why? Like, you had it in every single one of your multiplayers up until Uncharted 4, and, like, the reasoning behind it, I think one dev said was because, oh, you know, that's an extra 10 seconds, you know, you have to wait for matchmaking, but, like, I think I speak for a lot of fans that an extra 10 seconds to actually play a map that you want to for full 10 minutes is a lot better than just waiting for an extra 10 seconds. I remember back at the launch, or I guess, yeah, just at the launch when Uncharted 4 didn't have that many maps, and you kept getting remnants, it was just, like, triggering to me, and, you know, I don't know. A lot of this is stemming from nostalgia, of course, you know, not like everything from Uncharted 2 and Uncharted like 3 and Last of Us even had like perfect multiplayer, but like, hell, I want to revisit some of that. Let's go and revisit some of these memories. There we go, that works. Hell, let's look up some of my old videos, shall we? 21 subscribers, we've come a long way. You know, that's one thing I never really got. Why did I put my kills and everything in the title when I didn't even perform that well?
Hi YouTubers!
Jesus Christ, it's
Hi
loud.
YouTubers, this is topnotchpj 1, 2, 3, 4. Uncharted 3 beta.
See, like, this is what started my YouTube channel. This was what started my YouTube channel. This was like my passion originally. You gotta start somewhere, I mean.
We did in the middle of the game, sorry, but
I'm actually glad I didn't delete these videos.
So I'm Enoch, I'm recording, and I'm the cameraman, and Brandon is playing right now.
I want to edit like a picture of cameraman Chef when he says that.
Yep.
But like, yeah, like the multiplayer was so alive. Like, I don't know, the community, the feel, everything about this video. Datsku, I don't know if any of you guys remember him. Like, he was a really good YouTuber at the time. He was kind of small, but like, I don't know. It just, a lot of people left the community, and obviously, you know, people left because, you know, you can't really grow off like one game, but like, I don't know. It felt a lot more alive. It felt like the game felt like it knew what it was trying to do. I don't know. The multiplayer was like in a lot healthier state than at least Uncharted 4 ever was in. Speaking of which, we're talking about that article that came out earlier. I think Jaden made a video on it.
How's it going, everyone? It's These Starks here, and I've got some very interesting news. Or seems
Yeah, this is the article I was talking about.
In-game store, end quote. So first,
So I don't even need to take this out from my video. Let's just read it off his video. So yeah, I have the article pulled up in one of my tabs. So I had it ready, but like, it pretty much said you will usher players through the entire multiplayer experience. This is what this whole video is coming from, by the way. From first login through matchmaking and then granting rewards players can use to customize a character in the store. This is where everyone's taking all like the news and like, oh, it's gonna have a store, oh, it's gonna customize your character, which isn't really that big of a news, but I don't know. It's kind of stemming this whole conversation, I feel.
Character who, you know, maybe make him look like me or somebody else, or a character that I like back to, and I think just having that sense of dedication for the server.
See, like, that's where half this video is coming from. It's like, I want the multiplayer to succeed. I want this multiplayer to grow. I want people to play this multiplayer. But just, yeah, obviously you need a good multiplayer to do that. So that's kind of what this whole video is stemming from.
Full-on customization, if you think the multiplayer should or should not have that. Because I can see some problems with it in terms of microtransactions. But as a supporter of Naughty Dog,
Selling
I don't mind
eyes.
spending some money for microtransactions. Like, come on, it's just another way to support them. And I think anyone who's against microtransactions,
I don't know about
is
that
a
one,
proper
Chief.
gamer. Anyways,
Nani? No. Alright, I'm actually going to give explanation for this somewhat of a bit. Battle Royales, they work, and like the people that are most successful are like the ones that keep updating it as like a live service kind of thing. You look at Epic and you look at PUBG, I mean, it's memed about, but it is honestly one of the most successful, you know, Battle Royale games out there. And really, it's like the one game they're working on. It's the one project they're working on. They keep updating the game. They keep adding stuff, keep listening to players. Naughty Dog just isn't the dev for that. They do support the multiplayers. They are underrated multiplayers but a Battle Royale needs to be supported for like years and years ahead. Playing a Last of Us multiplayer, or Battle Royale rather, you just know that the Battle Royale is just going to be like not really relevant, not really being updated like post 2 years. I know it's going to be easy to jump on the bandwagon, and I know that they might want to do that, but honestly, I feel like the multiplayer won't have a Battle Royale at all, but just in case, no, don't do that. There's no reason to. You're going to be dropping the multiplayer after 2 years anyway, so like, there's no point really.
'Cause baby, now we got bad blood.
New Blood. New Blood is actually something that I'm actually optimistic about, and not many people are bringing up. You know, we got things like Robert Cogburn, who left, I believe, a couple years ago to join Wonder Force. I say a couple years ago. It could have been last year or the year before, but yeah, he joined Wonder Force, which I believe is like in relations with Netflix right now, working on that Dragon series on Netflix. I've heard good things. I still have yet to watch it personally. And I believe, actually, thinking about that right now, I think Justin Richmond also was like on that team with him. Quentin Cobb. Q-Train! Yeah, Quentin Cobb. He left like a year or two ago to join Daybreak, which is the people that do H1Z1. And then, you know, of course, he left that studio and he ended up working for Sony again. Right now, he's working for a PlayStation studio somewhere in San Diego. And he hasn't been able to say anything yet about it. So most of us are assuming he's working on that new Sony studio that just got established like last year or something like that. Seems pretty reasonable. But yeah, New Blood, I'm pretty optimistic. You know, if Naughty Dog's hiring from, like, studios like Activision or just random people that work on multiplayer studios, I feel like they can't possibly go wrong. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm optimistic about it, but I feel like New Blood's only a good thing. And But yeah, I guess essentially what I'm trying to say into this whole part of the video, new blood could be a good thing. I'm optimistic that the new blood for multiplayer, at least in terms of the leads, I mean, not like the whole multiplayer teams getting switched out or anything, but like, yeah, it's gonna be good.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Real quick, I know a lot of people are going to be expecting me to talk about microtransactions in terms of like the guns that are going to be eventually released post-launch and everything for Last of Us, because Uncharted 4 pretty much did a thing where everyone was kind of expecting it to be free, but then they were hidden behind like these supply drops, which were like mystical crates and stuff, where you kind of needed a lot of relics to like unlock and only get a chance of possibly getting a gun that you wanted from the DLC. So it was kind of a bit of a grind, and it was kind of annoying. But if I do remember, Last of Us had a worse system where you actually had to pay money to get certain guns. I think like the crossbow was a gun that was locked behind paywall. I feel like a lot more than just that. I remember actually Last of Us had a lot of microtransactions, so Uncharted 4 was a little bit like decent on. I mean, later on they ended up butchering it when they added like so many colors and there were just so many options of what you could possibly get, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're going to make it free. You know, nowadays when people are like Jim Sterling and Young A are more than ever trying to catch you for your like scummy business practices, I feel like it's just smart to just be on the safe side. I know it's a business, Sony might want to do something, but like, I don't know. Try to make it like Uncharted 4 at the very least, if not better than that system in a way. I mean, I'm not really strict. That's not where like most of my complaints of the multiplayer was, because I don't really care about how my character looks. But in terms of like the guns and stuff, it is annoying when you want to try out a new gun and a new update and you have to grind for it or pay money for it. I don't think it will be paying money for Last of Us 2's. I feel like it won't be like that, but yeah, I don't know. Make it less of a grind, maybe. I mean, it's kind of tiring to see all these multiplayers come out, and every single story, it's like a bad. Everyone's trying to capitalize on microtransactions. It's like, can we get a release for once where it doesn't do that? Yeah, please. Oh man, I'm actually kind of getting excited for this next part. Co-op. Co-op is actually something I forgot about until just now when I'm making this video. Let's include it real quick. Co-op was mentioned at least like a few times after the game's multiplayer release for, I'm talking about Last of Us 1. Pretty much a lot of the people wanted, you know, you and a couple buddies fighting against infected waves, which, you know, who you're playing a zombie game or an infected game, you know, obviously if you're playing the multiplayer segment, you kind of feel like that could be part of the game. And pretty much, you know, after Left Behind, when you did start to see some of those like encounters where you could like mix in the infected and the actual like humans in terms of that kind of gameplay, a lot of people were wondering where's the co-op in that. And like I think a lot of developers mentioned that they tried to make it work, but they just didn't have enough time, or just something happened where like, yeah, they kind of had to scrap it because it's kind of too late. But I feel like that's going into Last of Us 2's multiplayer. They should be like one of their forefronts. I feel like that just sounds so much fun. Like just you and like a friend fighting against a bloater and like waves and stuff. Like, it just sounds dope. Like you can't go wrong with that. So yeah, let's hope to make that at launch. I sound so entitled when I say this, but like no one's gonna care about the multiplayer. Some people are gonna drop off if you make it after launch. You know, we only want this multiplayer to succeed and stuff. So yeah, please make it launch. I just don't want another Uncharted 4 situation, and I know a lot of people in the community really wanted that badly. I feel like Last of Us 2 co-op has been mentioned a lot. So, yeah, I feel like that's just an exciting concept, and you want to capitalize on that. Yeah, going in and ending off this conversation, just my main points obviously were don't make stupid mistakes like you did with Uncharted 4. Listen to the community, like, maybe try to figure out some of these problems ahead of launch and try to like not wait until launch and people play your game to actually figure it out. I mean, they're always going to do like QA testing. Hopefully the people that do that speak up and say stuff, but like it's just frustrating when these things go by and it's just like you've had years to develop this and like we could have communicated with you guys, or like we didn't have to wait until launch, and it's just a messy situation. I feel like Uncharted 4 is definitely like in recent memory of that. And yeah, I mean, I'm talking about Uncharted 4 a lot. I do want to talk about Last of Us because yeah, I don't know. Last of Us kind of, to me, reminded me of Uncharted 2's multiplayer. It was, like, simple but good. Like, there was a cool concept of, like, the whole days and week system, which they can't carry over. That stuff I don't really care about. It's more of, like, the lobby kind of, like, games and everything. Not the actual kind of, like, mechanics of the game. I feel like when you talk about Last of Us 2 multiplayer, it's going to be, like, pretty much the same as 1 in a way. I don't feel like what they would do differently, like, the same system. Maybe they'll change some of the stuff, like, in the game and how you're picking up supplies and stuff, but, like, I feel like a lot of that kind of core gameplay mechanics kind of worked, and like a lot of people were happy with that. I mean, yeah, the modes were pretty fine. I mean, maybe you want to do a solo mode, but The Last of Us has always been kind of more strategic. That's what made sense about The Last of Us. It felt more strategic. Like Uncharted 4 didn't feel that very strategic. It felt kind of like there needed to be a free-for-all in there, but there never ended up being one, which was disappointing. Just, yeah, I don't know. I could go on for days. I don't want to make this video too long because I know I've done kind of jack shit. You know, I actually did see a video the other day talking about how, like, yeah, I saw like an Uncharted 2 2018 video talking about how long it took to queue up. So I feel like let's end the video off with that. Let's try to see how long it takes to make and find a match in 2019 for Uncharted 4's multiplayer. But first, actually, let's watch the video. This is the video. You can see I've already watched part of it, but like, let me get my headphones on.
Again,
All right, he's starting at like the minute
back into TDM.
segment. A minute and one.
You start
Okay,
looking for
never
any
mind.
game modes, you will most likely not find anything.
A minute and 6.
Again,
Okay,
guys,
so let's see when he finally finds a match.
like a mound.
God, this is a throwback, bro. All right, so that's like what? Let me do some simple math. Like a minute and 22 seconds, I think. Is he gonna say anything? I don't know. Anyway, it's like about a minute and 22 seconds. Let's load up Uncharted 4 multiplayer and see in 2019 how long it takes to find a match. Again, the other video was like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so, you know, I'd be pretty surprised if we can get into a game within like a minute now, because it is like 3 years after the game's launch. Actually, not even that, 2.5 years, but, I mean, the multiplayer back in Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 is still kind of kicking to this day, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I haven't loaded up this multiplayer in like at least 9 months or so. I haven't played this since probably like last Christmas break, maybe. For reaching your rank last, what? Okay. See, I missed a season, apparently. Alright, you know what? I don't even know what's kicking the most, but I'm just gonna give him like the benefit of the doubt. Let's go TDM, okay? TDM, Team Deathmatch. Alright, it's break, okay? Definitely different, okay? I guarantee you, this is like a mid-game match. Watch. Oh shoot, I forgot about this. Oh dude, Blind Eddie Raja, that was like my main. Oh dude, this music's fire, honestly. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, look, this is a mid-game match. Holy crap, the latency. That's my nade. What's rope, L1? Alright. Let's see if we can get some kills. You know, I was gonna leave if this was me a mid-game match to go see if we could find another match, but like, we're already here, so I might as well show off the skills. Take that. Clearly earned that kill. Okay. Hold up. Just want to get a kill at least. Oh, I don't want to take another kill. I don't want to be that guy, you know? I did that already and it was funny, but like, not again. Yikes. Are you kidding me? Yikes. Test number 2 works just as well. TDM, probably just to show, compare it. Alright, there's no way. I guess that ends off the video. I mean, yeah, honestly, comparing the times didn't really work that well. At all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Kind of like a new style video for me. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if this is like one of the first videos if you've seen of mine. If you have, this is like the first video you're seeing of mine. That's kind of interesting. Where have you been? But yeah, honestly, 2019, if I'm being really honest and just not taking the piss out of Naughty Dog every 20 seconds like I did in this video, I'm optimistic. I was optimistic about Uncharted 4's, but that didn't work out. But I am optimistic that they'll get their stuff together for this release and actually make it good. But again, I'm only one person. I'm only like one half of the conversation. You guys are the other half. Make sure to comment down below what you guys are hoping that they fix in the multiplayer. What do you guys hope they add? I mean, this isn't really like a wish list kind of video. I feel like that's saved for like another day, but honestly, what am I going to say? What should they add? I mean, it's up to them at the end of the day. Not that they're really going to take it into consideration now anyway, but again, leave all that good stuff in the comments down below. Hopefully I'll fix this shitty camera angle for the next video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. See ya.